And with Power Prep Sports. Today we have Pleasant Home head baseball coach Cody Sellers. Coach Sellers, I appreciate you taking your time with us today. As you can see, I'm roughing it right here out by the pool. It's got a nice 68 degrees. I got a cup of coffee. Looks like you're at school working
Yes,
real
sir. Hey,
hard.
you can't hide money, as they say. I
Yeah,
understand.
that's right. Especially when it's somebody else's. But hey, first year baseball coach, Pleasant Home. Traditionally, they do well every year. Always can have that potential that we've talked about before of making a little run in the playoffs. Finished second last year in the area. Uh, I know it's your first year, but you probably know all the kids you're going to be working with, even though
Yes, sir.
practice only been going for a few weeks, but you've had your throwing program and all that since the beginning of the year. How has practice gone up to this point?
It's been going really well. The biggest thing that stands out to me is the effort and attitude that these kids got. I mean, they really, we push them pretty hard, and they've met the challenge every time. Now, we're not without making mistakes out there, but that's part of the learning process. But the one thing that I definitely has stood out to me the most is our effort. That you push them and they just keep jumping as high as you set the bar. And so that's going to be my job, to keep setting the bar higher, and not just be content with, okay, that's good or that's pretty good. Every time they accomplish something, we want to kind of raise the challenge on them, and they've met it so far. And I just love the attitude and effort that we're getting from the kids right now.
Now, to throw some names out there, I mean, have you been able to, uh, as far as in the pitching department, uh, have you got at least a two-man rotation? I know at
Yes,
smaller
sir.
schools, they're not, they don't have the luxury of maybe having three or four guys that could be quality starters, but you
Yes, sir.
usually will have at least one and possibly two, and then you have others which I call chunkers.
Yes,
That
sir.
can give you
I know what you
one
mean.
or two innings. Have you already identified those guys?
We have. That's kind of I'm a big person on pitching and defense, and me being new, it kind of gave the kids a little excitement that there was no predetermined roster as far as pitchers. So I literally opened the door. If you think you can pitch, we held some bullpen sessions and everything, and tried to find out guys that could throw strikes. And we had some guys that figure out why they haven't been pitching, and we've got some guys that kind of stepped up and probably should have been pitching uh, before they started this year. But we got some people now missing some from basketball that are still, and rooting for our basketball team to keep going deep. But I don't have them out there, and I know I got a couple of what they tell me 2 or 3 arms that are playing basketball that could help us out. But we got some guys now that you got Josh Hawkins, you got Frank Gafford, you got Nathan Fowler. That are 3 guys that I'd feel comfortable starting tomorrow if the season started tomorrow. That those guys get after it, they throw strikes, they're able to locate a couple multiple pitches instead of just fastball only for strikes. And there are juniors. We got a good solid junior group, and feel confident about those guys getting the job done on the mound. Now, it's all been practice, and you've been coaching for a while. You know how it is.
Right.
Sometimes things look good in practice, and when those lights come on, we got to kind of take it to a different level. But I definitely feel good about what I've seen so far.
All right. Well, how are you in the middle? You're talking about you got to be strong in the middle, and that's
Yes,
behind the
no doubt.
plate, and you middle infield and center field. I mean, how you going to be in those areas?
We do. I feel pretty good about it, and I definitely ascribe to that. Being strong in the middle, being a defensive-oriented guy, and I feel like we have good athletes and short, second, and center field and catcher. Fowler is also a good pitcher for us, but I think he's going to hold down the catching position when he's pitching. We got a senior named Landon Kelly, who's a good athlete as well. He played middle linebacker in football, and he can move around, kind of a thick kid. And shortstop, it's one of my guys out at basketball. He was our quarterback in football, so I know he can move. Is Mason Anderson. Moves very well at short. And then at second base, we got Ty Clark, who's been at basketball, but also we got a good sophomore named Alex Watson, who's really took some good strides at second base, and I feel really good about him moving around. And then our guy, Josh Hawkins, Hawk's a bulldog. I mean, he literally can play all 9 positions. Right now, he's probably our ace on the mound, probably going to play some third, play some short. He could catch if we needed him to. In center field, you got Frank Gafford, who's probably one of the best gloves and best speed on the team. I mean, he gets after it. And we got a guy out there, Jordan Davis, at basketball, who's played some center field, I've been told, but he's at basketball. So, kind of outfield, we may have center, may have left. Right now, Frank's been getting the reps in center. and he can definitely track them down without question with his speed and athleticism. So I feel pretty good about up the middle. I do.
All right. Well, switching over to offense, you got some kids that's got some pop in the bat, or you're going to have to concentrate on putting the ball on the ground and moving runners over. You got now, we've already, if you looked at speed as far as Pleasant Home, if you went and looked
That's
at
not
football,
our cowbell, so to
that's
speak.
not y'all forte. Y'all
No,
big
sir. No,
and
sir.
to be nice, don't have a lot of speed.
No,
Instead of
sir. All right,
saying
it's true. That's
instead
true.
of saying big and slow, but
Yes, I think we were doing some
you know,
base run the other day. I looked at it and I said, there's probably about two of y'all that I'd still just give the green light all the
yeah.
time. The other ones, we better get some good jumps or something.
So that must mean you're gonna have to be able to hit a little bit.
Yes, we definitely need to kind of try to develop to be a gap to gap team. I mean, that's going to be a difference for me. Now, I believe we can win any way we can, but I'm probably more of a small ball guy, pitching defense. I like to bunt and get the runners moving. But as you said, you got to go with what you got. You got to work with what you got. And if we're not going to be a super fast team, I got to kind of change my strategy a little bit. So we really been working on some hitting drills and kind of trying to get some elevation on the baseball. And we got some bigger guys. We got a guy, Big Brody, our first baseman right here, Brody Griffin. He's got some length on him. He's a kid about 6'2", 6'3", and when he gets enough torque on the baseball, he definitely can pop it. That Landon Kelly kid I mentioned earlier is a strong youngin, and when he gets a hold of the ball, it goes. Same thing with Hawkins and Fowler. They got some pop in their bat. And we do got some guys, Frank and Watson. Frank's fast, Watson not as fast, but can probably get a bunt down, can hit it where they're not, hopefully. But that's kind of honestly, that's funny you mentioned that. That's where we're kind of trying to find our identity right now. We've been doing a lot of cage work, and we got some kids with some really good raw ability. I'm kind of a stickler for some technique on some things, so we're kind of having to break some swing down and build them back up. And, that's a process where you kind of got to convince them the old way of doing it's not the right way. So you got to get them broke down, but you got to get them confident in what you're doing, and then you start building them up. And you got to have some patience as a kid where sometimes it's not going as good as you want. You got to trust that this new way of doing it's the best way. And when they see the results, which they've started to, they'll believe in it a little bit more.
Well, I know with base running coaching before, I've always tried to tell kids that, you want to have speed, but if you don't have speed, you got to be smart.
Amen. Yes, sir.
And you can take that, and that'll take you a long way as well. You picking up tendencies of what the pitcher does, or how they play in certain things, or when I can get a half a step, or when I can do this. So I know you probably working on those type of things.
Oh, yes, you hit the nail on the head, Coach. I mean, that's kind of where, we're trying to steal it in there, right? We don't have the speed, but that's where we did a lot of base running activities and drills where we're trying to get that advantage you're talking about. Hey, kind of reading the pitcher's movements, kind of reading where the defense is shifted. Could you steal a couple feet from your lead? Can you get a good jump off this pitcher when he only looks a certain amount of times? Like you said, we're trying to use our brains to make up for our feet sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I know every softball or baseball coach I've talked to the past couple of weeks that they've said if they could steal first base, they would do it.
No doubt. Hey, if they do, please let me know.
Well, listen, switching over to your area, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you have Kinston, Sampson, and Florella.
Yes, sir.
Right?
That's it.
And including yourself. Where do you see as the biggest challenge? I know who you're going to say, but I mean, because you probably already
from what everybody tells,
I'm
new to the area a little bit and still kind of learning. What everybody tells me is Kinston. That's who won it last year, and they have a good baseball team. I know Florella's coming up. I think they got a good coach over there. And I know Sampson's coach. I know him personally. I know he gets after it as well, and I know they're on the come up. And I think we have a very competitive region. I think if you look in 1A regions, we definitely got to be one of the top ones up there because we got 4 teams that could probably win a couple of these other regions out throughout the state and are not going to end up making the playoffs. And but I embrace that. Competition is a good thing. I think we got a lot of good coaches, and I want to state here too. When you're making a baseball schedule early on, especially when I was transitioning earlier in the year, the guys in our area are definitely competitors, but they definitely believe in that coaching creed, man. They looked out for me knowing I was new to the area and kind of helped give me some contacts from other coaches and everything. And that was just a breath of fresh air because it's supposed to be that way, and a lot of times it is, but you've been in the business a long time. There's still some guys that don't kind of follow that code as far as we're all supposed to look out for each other in a way, and I will vouch for all 3 of those guys. They do.
Well, that's your area schedule. Uh, how does your non-area schedule look? I know before you answer that, Coach Silcox was telling me the softball schedule, and I wanted to ask him did he let somebody that didn't know anything about scheduling make out a schedule because it looked pretty tough, up
Yes,
and down the whole way.
yes.
You
We
got to
try to
have a
have
few that
sure.
some confidence build, what I call confidence builders, and
Amen. I agree with that. I agree with that, Coach. And we do. I'd say we're fairly pretty balanced. But we do definitely have some games that we're going to have to step up. And we play strong. It's going to be pretty tough. We got WS Neal, who's usually fairly decent. Somebody tells me some of these Florida schools we got, Baker and Central are fairly decent.
yeah,
JU Blackstern's usually got a pretty good baseball team, and we play those guys. And then we have a couple others that, we're going to go into it. Speaking frankly, we expect to win those. Like you said, some confidence builders. We try to
mhm,
pepper those throughout the schedule. I mean, nothing's a given, but,
right,
just being honest, there's some of them I'm going to be
yeah,
mighty disappointed if we don't come away with the wins in a few of them.
yeah.
So
I've
I think we
lost
got
some
a
of those
pretty good bout.
confidence
Red
builders.
Level, we play those. Red
Yeah,
Level, I know, has usually got a good program, but that's kind of a county rival. And one thing I wanted to do was try to play everybody in the county that I could. We hadn't got Andalusia on the schedule yet. Probably not going to get them this year. Who knows what the future holds down the road? But I know that'd be a handful as well.
right. Well, I know I've lost a couple of those confidence builders, and
Me too,
you
Coach.
lose your confidence real quick on
Yes.
those. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time
Yes,
today,
sir.
and I wish you the best on your season. Make you a run there at the playoffs, and hopefully get to come down and maybe watch a game down there at Pleasant Home.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Doors always open. Thank you for the time and the exposure for the kids in the program. It's
Hmm.
appreciated.
Thank you.